Well, hey, the Bible-based movie Noah hitting theaters this past Friday night.
Great flood is coming. The waters of the heavens will meet the waters of the earth. We build a vessel to survive the storm. We build an ark.
But the big dollar Hollywood blockbuster drumming up controversy among Christians. Why? Because it barely mentions God. Joining us now to weigh in, Fox News religion contributor, Father Jonathan Morris. Good morning to you. So Christians, some of them anyway, may be up in arms, but environmentalists are excited about it.
You know, it's a classic case of the book is much better than the movie. And I'm disappointed about that, actually, because I wanted Hollywood to do they could have done an awesome job in this film. They put $140 million into it. And quite honestly, it's entertaining. It's escapism. It's kind of a double escapism, though. It's also escapism from the true story, from what's in the Bible. And I think if they had put that much talent and that much money into beginning with a source of inspiration rather than just, we're going to make something a story about something everybody knows about, they missed the mark, and they're going to pay for it dearly.
Is the fucking priest on Fox News seriously going to talk about escapism and double escapism? Because that's pretty much what the definition of double escapism is, being a priest on Fox News. That's double escapism right there. But my favorite parts are how they're like, Christians are up in arms because this story doesn't have to do with God. The actual story of Noah is extremely short in the Bible. There are like no details or anything. Very, very few details. It's very broad and generalized. They obviously had to make this more interesting in order to make a movie about it. And mind you, if he said he wished that the movie had been better than the book. So apparently you expected them to put out a movie that was better than the Bible, which is what you base your entire fucking life on.
Where specifically does this movie disappoint?
Well, first of all, I think God comes across as this kind of enigmatic, impersonal force that tells you to do crazy things, number one. Number two, Noah is a strong character, and he definitely has inner conflict, which is fine, but he borderline schizophrenic, I would say. It's just not an inspiring movie. And I think that's why the real story is unbelievably inspiring. This guy was a great father who chose to do an unbelievably difficult thing, and God blessed him and the world for it.
I think the problem here is that Father Jonathan, has been told these stories so often that when it's actually shown, like via film, he's like, damn, that guy looks like a crazy motherfucker. That guy looks like a schizophrenic with like voices talking to him, telling him to do crazy things. Yeah, that's how we all look at you dumbass. And the super religious out there, the people that think they have a relationship with Jesus. And then he actually has the nerve to say that the original story from the Bible is incredibly inspiring. Well, I guess if you're a schizophrenic or you're crazy or you think people are talking to you, telling you to do crazy things, that's an inspiration to you to know that there are apparently other people out there that have been told even crazier bullshit. And then he has the nerve to say, and then God blessed him and the world for it. I was under the impression that God basically killed everyone, including the animals, except for two of each kind, like guilty. The pregnant women, their unborn babies, guilty. You are too evil to survive. You don't deserve a chance. And that's it's such an inspiring story about how this God just killed the fuck out of everybody. Oh, I'm so inspired by it. You're a disgusting piece of shit, basically. And you have the nerve to tell me that you're on the moral high ground after you say some stupid shit like that? Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Well, $40 million worth of ticket sales. But what does that say to you?
$25 million on Friday, estimated $40 million over the weekend. That pales compared to, for example, The Passion of the Christ.
Well, that's probably because Christians absolutely love seeing Jesus, whipped and stabbed and just basically tortured for an entire movie. For them, he did it all for us.
But I think what's going to happen is the word is going to spread that, gosh, they put a lot of money into advertising, so we got a big numbers on Friday, but it doesn't really live up to it. I've seen on my Facebook and Twitter people saying, I said, who saw it and what did you think? I saw maybe one or two people say, oh, I loved it. Most people were like, disappointing. You know, it was kind of strange, kind of weird.
Disappointing, strange, and weird. It's a pretty good description of Father Jonathan here in this news clip. He's definitely a weird motherfucker. You're strange. And you've disappointed me. You're not really, and Christians in general, thinking that everything needs to be, if you want to tell a story like at all, like it should totally follow the Bible. And I don't know what you think that would achieve. It would only succeed in making the movie a complete failure. Nobody would want to go watch like a fucking, basically a creationist documentary of some crazy lunacy that's been happening in their head because they have to be able to explain this shit away. Who the fuck cares? And who the fuck follows Father Jonathan on Twitter and Facebook? And if you don't appease us with every movie and whatever, then we're gonna be like, oh, it only made $40 million on its opening weekend. Nothing. Passion of the Christ made a lot more money. They made like $1 million for every time Jesus got flogged. Douchebags. And to talk about the amount of money and claim to be like on the side of Jesus. You're not making as much money off of Jesus as, as Passion of the Christ. Do you not fucking hear yourself? Have you not actually read the Bible and seen how much of a problem Jesus has with, like, rich people and money and shit like that? No? I mean, or you have and you just choose to ignore it? Or willfully ignore it? You know it's there. Hopefully you're not. Hopefully I'm not better versed in your religion than you are. Or maybe I am.
Yeah, especially with the all-star cast with Russell Crowe there.
Yeah, they're great actors and a great director, but just wrong starting point. Didn't start from the point of view of faith.
Oh, but it started with the point of view of faith. You just looked at that and decided that it was more like crazy and schizophrenic, which is how faith is, especially if you think that, like, you asking something. If you think a cosmic being is telling you, I'm going to kill everybody, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is how you and your family are going to survive and preserve all the species on Earth so that none of them go extinct, even though as a creator I've let them go extinct for years and like centuries, millennia, just animals, species after species go extinct. But it's very important at this exact moment in time to save two of each kind because they didn't know what the fuck a species was when they wrote the goddamn Bible. And to you, that's like, oh, you just didn't start off from faith. It started off from La La Land and the same place faith comes from. And I don't see what your big problem is. Like, it just didn't follow your version of the schizophrenic story of the craziness. They didn't follow your craziness exactly. And so now Christians are all up in arms. Makes you sound even more fucking crazy than you did in the first place, which is a pretty difficult job to fucking, a task to complete. So congratulations for coming off as even more dipshitty and loony than you did before. Golf clap. Coctopus out.
But we went in with an open mind, and I felt bad because they spent $100 million. This is something that, people have been saying that they want. I really want a good Noah movie. Bill Maher is like, oh, you can't be satisfied? No, I know. No, because this is nothing like a good... Rock people, Bill. Rock people. And people like Bill Maher will say, well, you believe in a sky god. Yeah, but I don't believe in rock people. Okay? I have a hard time with that one. It's not just a biblically bad movie, because it treats a prophet of God like a lunatic.